Hello, and welcome to Mind and Money Show, where we talk all things mindset, money management, and our entrepreneurial journey. Along the way, we're going to throw in some amazing guests for good measure. I'm Shane Hyland.
I'm Gareth Shears. This show is going to change your life and teach you skills that school never taught you.
Boom.
The effects of sudden wealth syndrome, something along.
Do you know, I feel something like that when I get a refund on some clothes that I've ordered and they refund my money. I feel
this money that happens all the time for you, doesn't it? You are that person who orders three. Do you know what? I ran. A lot of people don't know this, but I had an online retail brand, which we built. Globally, it sold all around the world. We sold it.
Be careful now what you say here. I think I know what you're going to say, and don't offend certain people. Is it?
Well, no, I'm not going to offend anyone. I just, but do you know what? I know people do it, right? But not many people did. But people who will buy £300 worth of clothes, and you knew it, right? When somebody put an order in for because an average order was generally anywhere between £30 and £50 an order, okay? Maybe £30 and £60, I kind of say was the average order size. When you saw the people putting orders in, apart from around Christmas time, you would have bigger ones. If they put a £200-300 order in, they were Shane Hyland, where they buy stuff, try it all on, send back £200 of the 300 or £250 of the 300 quid, and then all the packaging was ripped open, all the tags were taken off stuff, and they send it all back. Do you know, absolute bugbear. Do you know what I mean? That literally pain in the ass. But anyway,
my wife asked me. You say 250 to 300. I'd say I average probably 200 a month spending on clothes, and I say I average 196 quid back on it. I don't keep anything. I don't know why I get it. Try it. I'm going, no, I don't want that. It all goes on my credit card, and I return it. I don't know. I have no excuse. I know I'm an odd person, but it does happen.
Who pays the postage on this? Either way, generally, you probably get free postage because you're buying so much.
You usually get free postage. There's
you get free returns.
Some places.
So we did free returns,
do.
Right? We did free returns. So you would log on to our website, you'd click a button, type in what your order number was, and it would give you a Royal Mail return label, which we paid for. Yeah.
So it's costing you money.
Costing me money both ways. So it reduces your profit. Now, there's not much profit margin in clothing, or what people think. So if you're thinking of launching a clothing brand on the side of your business, don't bother. Right? Actually, yeah, that's for another time. But I've had a conversation with someone who runs a online retail brand, and we've had exactly the same conversation.
I paid the last thing that I did. I bought 2 pairs of jeans before I went away on holidays. Thought I was the same size I was when I was 20 odd years of age, but that's another point. And they charged me for returns. Now, I was intending to keep one of them. I bought 2. I was going to send one back. I prepaid for the return thing, which was, I think it was 3 quid or 4 quid. But you know, it was the first time I've done it. I spoke to Claire in the office as well. I had to bring it to Tesco.
Oh, those drop-off points.
Brilliant. First time I've ever used one. I was
the barcode, whatever.
Scared going, got there and asked the guy, the security guy, what do I do with this? He went, it's outside. So I went outside and I was like, oh God, what's going to, where? And saw these boxes and, you know, the screen is there. And it's like, scan here. Beep. Is it big or small? Let's say small. Beep. What company is with? Beep. Bang. Oh. Number 4, doors open. Push it in there. Close. Beep. Do you want a receipt? Yes. Beep. Email to me. I was like, it's that easy. I don't have to talk to anyone.
And it's a lot cheaper for brands to do that. That when we were running ours, that was starting to kind of come in, but it kind of didn't. But it'd be much easier for us to do.
No queuing. I thought, I'm going to have to do this. No Royal Mail. No them weighing it. Brilliant. So apologies to all the well, there's only 3 of you that I usually use. I will continue to do that. I don't know why. I'm sorry.
Be nice if you kept the clothes once and supported them. I guess if they're big brands and stuff like that, sometimes. But we were a small brand, and that was a pain in the arse when people did that. But I'm just going to put that out there. I've been there. I've done it. I've actually worn the T-shirt, and we made T-shirts as well.
Sudden wealth syndrome. That's how I felt.
Yeah, because you said you felt the sudden wealth when the money was coming back, even if it was your bloody money. But No, like sudden wealth syndrome is a thing, and we've talked in previous episodes about people selling their businesses and the effects of sudden wealth syndrome doesn't just come from you selling a business. It's winning a lottery, maybe getting some inheritance. Maybe it's a claim for some sort of lawsuit against, maybe it's the NHS or whatever it may be, or an accident. But having this sudden money coming into your bank, and I'm not talking about 20, 30 pound, I'm talking about large sums of money, life-changing potential
high
sums
six,
of money.
if not big seven figure.
Big seven sort of money's coming into the bank account. That can happen from selling a business, like say winning the lottery. We weren't kind of expecting, like we all play the lottery, or a lot of us do, but we never expect to actually win it. And when we do, we're not in the emotional state to deal with that money coming in. And I think that's what people don't realize. People think, oh yeah, what a load of rubbish. But no, it kind of happens. Now, I know it from kind of personal experience through kind of clients who've had it and how it's affected them. One of the big things, and a good friend of ours kind of felt this when they sold their business.
Yeah.
They lost their purpose, because if you've spent your time building this brand, building this business, and then suddenly it's sold and you've got this big lump of money in the bank, you were going to work maybe 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and your passion was there. Every weekend you were involved, and even like you saw the emails coming in from a new client going, yes, I accept that offer coming on Sunday. You're involved in that business. All of a sudden, overnight, you're no longer involved in that business.
He became a professional fisherman, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Yeah. But openly talks about having kind of that kind of, and went into an element of depression and really struggled with identity. But I've seen that in another. So when I had my first house 20 odd years ago, I know I didn't go old enough to have had a house 20 years ago, but when I had my first house, so I lived it was an ex-council house in the Newport area, and one of my neighbours actually won the lottery back 20 years ago. 11.9 million.
Did you get any
round
of it?
about there? No. But so they were, I don't know the exact figures, but I'm going to say they were in probably their 60s. The kids had grown up. They looked after one of their children as well. So they'd been brought up kind of a couple of jobs, all of a sudden won this huge amount of money, and they didn't really know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And I kind of saw this unfold. So they gave some money to the kids. They bought the kids some houses, bought them cars. They wanted more money. They tried to move house. They moved up around the corner to a bigger house, didn't settle, and ended up moving back to the house which they were in, because they'd spent all this time going through life, having everything they needed for what they could afford, and all of a sudden they had this wealth that they couldn't. They didn't buy new cars. They went and bought second-hand cars, and people were saying, "Why are you not buying brand new cars?" But the family kind of turned on them in the end because they wanted more money, and the husband struggled with the stress. He ended up having a heart attack and passed away. Whether it was to do with that, I don't know. But I remember the wife saying to my mum, it was the worst thing that could ever happen to them, having that money. They wish they never had it.
And people don't understand that. What do you mean? You're financially free. You can do whatever you want and ever. It doesn't make sense.
But they didn't know what to do with that money.
Yeah.
And the problem is then, like I've talked about it before when I talked about sudden wealth syndrome, is that you will find friends and family, the worst will come out to them when money's involved. Yeah.
It is the norm. I've just checked because you gave out to me for so many times. I had to make sure that my mic was on.
Yeah.
Halfway through chatting about this, I thought, oh no. But it is true, and as you say, it's not just the win on the lottery or selling that. Even somebody that has an injury, maybe a catastrophic injury, and all of a sudden you go, how are we going to cope as a family? And all of a sudden, through something that happens, compensation or something like that, you get X amount of money in. Again, that's another life-changing. That's wealth, unfortunately, through horrible circumstances. But all the issues that come with that. That's a roller coaster of being okay, then having some medical issue or something like that happens, and not being able to wonder how you're going to make ends meet, and then having it back again. there's so many emotions with all of these different types of lump sums incomes.
It's managing the emotions, and I think what we're always very good at in everything people do is that, these solicitors do a brilliant job at getting this lovely claim for people, or the solicitors or the kind of agents who help selling businesses do this wonderful job for getting these people this money. But where we're really bad at is managing the individual through the process and out the back end, because that's where they really, really need the help. And I think that's where huge value can be added. Like the National Lottery, that's a good example. These people, maybe it's changed now, I don't know. But, clients say it probably hasn't, because we just don't learn from mistakes, do we? And we're really bad at that. But if that couple who I live next door to, if they'd been managed through the process with somebody, kind of the emotional side, not just the financial side of how to deal with their money and spend it, but the emotional side, this is what's going to happen. These are the things that's going to happen to you. This is how we're going to help you manage it. If people start requesting money from you, send them to us. We'll deal with them. If they'd been managed through that process, maybe there would have been a totally different outcome of that. Maybe it wouldn't have been, but maybe it would have been a slightly different outcome. And I think that's the same for anyone who sells business. It's not just going hard at going, right, how do we get the structure right to sell the business, but actually how are we going to manage you and your family when you no longer have that with you? Is there things you want to go and do? Do you want to go and do another business? Because the other thing you will find, and this will generally happen, I'd say 99% of the cases, if you have a particular skill set, you probably will have contractually something in the contract that you can't use that skill set for the next couple of years when you kind of sell up. Yeah. And we know that from experience with clients who have sold, that they cannot go back into that arena for a certain amount of years. Sometimes it's longer. But you need to have that outlet of what am I going to do when I finish, because you will feel that loss of purpose.
And that comes back to even the stuff that we do with those that haven't got sudden wealth. It's, let's not throw the value of what you have as an asset on the table at the outset. Let's have a discussion at the outset of what makes you tick. What makes you happy? What makes you get up in the morning? What do you enjoy to do? Because I think if you can find out a lot of that information, when you bring the money side into it, you can align the money, the spending, with those little things that make you happy. Now, we all want to go to a Super Bowl because that's what telly tells you to do, or you want to go to watch the Masters, or you want to go to an Olympics or a World Cup final or all that. But that only comes around once a year, once every 4 years. But do you know what?
You got to fill 40, 50 hours of your week.
If you enjoy, painting, you can actually go and do a painting course, as in learn how to do art. If you enjoy go-karting, you can actually go and do more go-karting on a higher level, or buy a go-karting area.
But it's got to be something you really do enjoy, though, as
yes.
well, because I think some people have this fantasy that I'm going to become this painter, fisherman, whatever it kind of means. But actually, when they get into it, they're like, actually, maybe I don't like it as much as I used to like it.
And I don't know what the numbers are anymore, but when a millionaire is not something that can retire anymore. It is because of the lifestyle.
I think you need 10 million. I think
10 or 11 million.
10 million is usually the sweet spot. Is 10 million at any sort of age level, if you invest it right, will get you through to a certain kind of, will give you a comfortable lifestyle for the rest of your life. But then I think you can probably flip the sudden wealth thing over to actually, I find this with some of my clients who come into retirement. They've got this pot of money and they suddenly stop work and they're used to not spending any money.
That continues.
And actually, all they're doing is building up more wealth. And you have to have this conversation with them about actually you can spend this. And we use some technology which shows clients they can spend it and the risk of spending it. And, don't get me wrong, there's some clients we have where we have to tell them to rein it in, who actually spend too much. Yeah, and that's another problem, is that when you get this wealth, if you spend it too quick, it's going to be gone. Because who was that guy who won the lottery who basically snorted most of it up his nose, bought a house in Kent, didn't he? And a right track, but now isn't he now Binman now, isn't he?
Oh, I can't.
He was a Binman, but now he's back to being a Binman.
And he's happy again.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's happy for the few months he
I'm
had.
sure he's happy for. I think he burned through it in 2 years, didn't he?
But isn't it amazing?
But that's a good example. And that's why, and that's where that person hasn't been managed properly.
Isn't it amazing when you chat to people and you make them stop work? You're involved in that situation. There almost is the first year of they're petrified because they have no more money coming in on a regular basis, or it has been reduced. They become hermit-like and they spend less. And it's only on the second year you're going, guys, you need to spend more money. Or we'll be holding back on this, we'll be holding back on that. I presume it's going to be, it's going to be the same when you get a lump sum in. That could be the last time they'll ever have, income coming in. They just got a huge lump sum from selling the business. But then if it's one, there's a different, I think, aspect of thinking that I've got 10 million, I'm going to buy a 300 grand Porsche. Sometimes you have to rein in spending and be realistic. But if you do it correctly, you can have the best life that you want, along with you, your family and friends and all of that.
You need to plan it.
You have to plan.
Like people plan the exit, but they don't plan the post-exit.
No.
And that's where I think it kind of goes a little bit wrong. And, there's so many variables to take into account. Are you going to go? Because so many people think I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to work. But if you've been a grafter and built your business, and you maybe exited in your mid-40s or early 50s, you're still going to want to do something.
National NS&I, National Savings Investments, they have a panel that if you win the £1 million, the premium bonds, that they will get someone to chat to you.
The lottery do as well.
The lottery will. If you sell your business for £6.2 million, there's nobody there.
No.
And you have vultures because people know you've sold it. Because you'll be known in the local area. Now, if you sell it for a couple of 100 million, that's a different story. But even if you sell it for X amount of small
it's usually
millions,
the big wealth managers, isn't it? The FTSE 100 ones.
I'm not sure who you're on about there. But
like vultures.
But
they don't have any experience in that.
No.
They're very, they're very good at investing your money. Not very good at what they do with it after investing.
But there's no... as you said, the vultures are going to be circling around. That person is going to feel under pressure to do something because they know they have to do something, but they don't know what to do.
But my advice to anyone exiting their business selling, they've got that lump sum, do not do anything with that money for 6 to 12 months. Don't commit to investing it anywhere for 6 to 12 months at least, or at least start putting a plan in place, because you've got to sit. I know it's not. I know it's easy to say, but that is what you need to do: sit back, evaluate. And then, because this money's going to last you a long, long time. Because most people who exit anyway are going to be still within the business for probably a good 12, 24 months because they can have an earn-out.
Go on a cruise for 3 months and get the concierge.
Yeah, exactly.
Spend 36 grand and go do something
Go and do
silly.
the holidays and do all those kind of things. But don't commit to tying all your money up within the first 6 to 12 months, because there's a lot of variables that have to be taken into account. But the problem is, if you walk through the door of a wealth manager's, one of the big ones, they're going to just want to put your money on ice straight away. Into a trust, tie it up, wrap it up.
Can't take it out.
Can't take it out. Probably you don't realise the implications of what you're doing or the tax consequences of doing it. Don't get me wrong, a lot of those things have to be done, but there's a structure and a process to do it. But you really need to start dealing with the emotional side before you start tying that money.
Especially for business owners. Forget about the lottery winners and that, but you've built something up maybe over 30 years. You built it from, your back garden or something like that. You sold it for X amount of millions. Part of you almost feels it's a limb that's been taken away because you've cultivated that business. You've grown it from scratch. You've put in, the day you sell it, you're remembering back, there's a tear in your eye, the times when you didn't have enough money to pay the staff maybe, or all the struggles come to light. The emotions are high. You've left the business, you've walked out the door for the very last time. You've looked back, you went, I'm not going to be back here again. But you've got 10, 11, 12, 9 million, whatever it may be in your back pocket or in the bank. Emotions are so high. There's that grey cloud in your mind that you're brain fried. You've just got the most money you'll ever got. You would never have thought you'd have got it 30 years ago. You have been told by husband, wife, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, friend, golf partner, you need to do something. As you say, slow down. Let everything settle. Take time. Set aside a small amount. to treat yourself for the work or the hard work that you put in over the years. It might be 40 grand, 50 grand, whatever amount. Do something stupid. Buy a big cruise. Take your time. Get away from the geographical area. Get away from all the other people telling you what to do. Get your mind free. Have a think about consequences, what you'd like to do, and come back to the table with fresh ideas.
Yeah.
When you've had some time away from the business. You don't leave the business on Friday and invest that £6.2 million on Monday morning.
And whatever you do, do not let your bank invest that money for you. Ever. Because if whoever you bank with, one of the big banks, they will, as soon as that money hits your bank account, they will want you to invest it, okay? So they can make their commissions and whatever they do from it. But do not let the bank do it, because they do not do proper financial planning, however much they may say they do, okay? All they are really interested in is just hitting their target and keeping your money in their bank. But that's what it's not about. You need to take your time, find the right person, someone you're comfortable with, who actually isn't just going to talk about your money, is going to talk about what the future holds, what the plans are, and they're going to handhold you through the future. It's not about... We can all invest your money. We can all stick it onto a platform, stick into a wrapper, stick it into an investment. We can all pick the same invest. Well, to an extent we can. Some people can, some people can't. But the investing side of it is about 20% of what should really be done. The other 80% is all around processes, procedures, emotions, behaviors, tax planning, future planning, goal planning. The actual investing is about, well, I'd probably say less than 20% of what the real process should be about. But if you go to the bank, it'll be 100% of what they do. It's just investing your money, sticking in some offshore bond. Let's forget about it. The things I've heard from what some of the banks have told clients about when they get their money, a good example was, we will guarantee you 3% a year. No one guarantee you anything. Absolute rubbish. And that's telling somebody who's going to have a lot of money that they're going to guarantee them 3% a year. It wasn't really. I think it was more so minus their charges, minus what you could do, taking the 5% out of a bond, but we won't go into that.
I just thought back to what I said there. That day you walk out, you pay yourself. That's your end bonus. That's your bonus to you for doing so well. That cruise, buy it, live the life of a lord for 8 to 9 weeks, and go and splash out on something like that and treat yourself.
Yeah, memories, great memories, because buying that Bentley or the Ferrari, like, once you bought it and sat in it, this is what it is. Do you know what I mean? There's more to life than that. But there's a process behind it. So if you get any sort of large amount of wealth, take some time and get the right professional help. I mean, the right professional help.
Do you think professional help would be a benefactor coming into one of the 4 rugby regions here in Wales and helping you lot out, throwing some money into a region?
Who's doing that?
No, if somebody gets some sudden wealth.
Oh yeah. No, I wouldn't do that. That's probably one of the worst investments you can make into a sporting club. Aren't they just money laundering tax havens?
Oh, I'm not sure about that, but you're
that's actually football clubs.
Everything you're doing is based on an emotion.
But you could do, if you have enough money and it is surplus to requirement, and if that's what you really want to do, you could go and do that. But
imagine getting your own personal name on your rugby jersey.
You have to pay for that, though.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sponsorship.
Absolutely. Maybe that makes people happy.
Well, Gary V's, that's one of his things, isn't it? New York Jets, is it?
Ah, okay. Don't know anything about baseball.
There we go.
Connacht, do you want me to sponsor?
I'm sure they do.
It's probably going to be the sleeve or the under the sleeve. That's about all I can afford.
We'll have to get another phone line now. You've done that, so they can ring. Everyone can ring in on that offer. There we go.
Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe and remember to follow us on social media for more content like this.